you first come to the apprenticeship, you start with like, the hard skills, and it starts out like with just the rough and tumble. You got to get your shelter, your water, your fire, your food, and you learn those skills. And so the apprenticeship really teaches you the hard skills. It doesn't mess around with like, I don't know, any fluff. You get right down to the basics, and we learn that stuff first, and then we can get into the interesting stuff. And so, the long-term survival stuff, getting your baskets ready for your larders, which you're gonna need to fill with. But so the apprenticeship starts by teaching you, your basic survival skills, and then how to make that fit in to the sort of grand scale, year-long stuff. And what I learned was that it's awesome, but it's not romantic. So you come to survival school for whatever reason you have. For me, it was sort of this like, this ideal of like the trapper man out on the frontier kind of thing, a sort of fantasy game. But like, and then I learned that wasn't really a thing. You can't do that. You can't do nature literacy by yourself. You have to have people. So, I learned the skills, obviously, and I learned that I have to keep learning the skills, because you don't just like get them right. You have to get them right and then get them wrong and then get them right and get them wrong, and learn over a long period of time. One great thing about the Primitive Skills School here is we teach wilderness survival, but we teach wilderness survival, or they teach wilderness survival in a way that is coexistent. It doesn't burn out the woods. It doesn't destroy everything in your wake. You can live with the woods, not off the woods.
I think one of the biggest lessons that I got from taking the apprenticeship was mostly just my ability to live in the woods comfortably for long periods of time. And doing that in the community too was also very beneficial. We were going over hard skills almost every day, friction fire, tracking, but then there was also that kind of constant thread of living within a community, operating within a community. And so aside from the hard skills, you're going to learn kind of what it takes to live within a community long term, collecting food during the various, especially during the fall. We were collecting a lot of food. I would recommend the apprenticeship to anyone who has any desire to learn how to live I guess closer to the earth, or just living in the woods, and taking that to a new level. And if you're willing to work hard, then you'll be eating wild rice, you'll be eating acorn bread, you'll be sleeping in awesome shelters and having fun. I think that's one of the biggest benefits is just enjoying each other's company and learning out in the woods.
You learn how to make fire by friction. You learn how to build and live inside a debris hut that is warm and mosquito proof, and you learn how to find water and all that other stuff. And you might even learn stuff like growing food, and you learn about plants, and you learn foraging, and you might learn some tracking. But you learn all sorts of little stuff in between that you probably didn't expect you would learn, but you can't really help but learn it, or else you just wouldn't really be able to get by. I mean, most of it, a huge part of it is learning to communicate with other people. Teaching is probably, for me, was one of the biggest challenges, and everything here you learn by doing it. And for me, doing stuff in the woods is easy, but it's teaching other people how to do it that was really, really difficult for me. But I definitely felt like I got a lot out of it by being forced to stand in front of a group of people and show them how to do something. If you put in the work, you can learn so much, and if you have the passion for it, you can take it in so many different directions, because all these things everything we learn here has a surface layer, and then everything can go so much deeper. But I think one of the biggest things about the core skills, the survival skills, the primitive skills, is they're really liberating. I mean, they're fun, and they're fun to do with other people. But really, that's the main thing. They're just liberating. You realize you can live with so much less than what you think you need to live with. You know, I'm not afraid of not having a place to stay, not having anything to eat, because I know how far I can go without that stuff, and I know a great deal more about how to provide it for myself.
Living here for the past 6 months has just been a true honor and gift. I've learned so much in my time being here, from friction fire off the landscape with rock tools, to flint knapping, to bow making, to snowshoe making. It has a little bit of something for everybody. I would recommend the apprenticeship to anybody who has a desire to reconnect to the outdoors and want to get in touch with their ancestral roots. And the way you'll benefit from that will be leaps and bounds above any other program that you could do. This school does an amazing job at breeding an amazing community and a very supportive, safe environment where you can push your edge but not go past your edge.
It doesn't matter who you are. When you walk in that classroom, you're part of it. When you step in the circle, you're part of it. And it's awesome to be part of something that's not every day. You don't see it everywhere. You see things that are like it, but I think a lot of people are looking for something like this. I mean, it teaches you how to come together with other people and do something. It allows you to go out there and to try something and fail and be happy about that because you're learning.
The apprenticeship teaches awareness, and with that, how to interact with our environment so that we can get everything we need when we need it from the environment and be a steward of that environment. So not only leave it as we found it, but actually improve on it so the health of the landscape just gets better as we interact with it. I think it's really good for people who are into organic farming and permaculture because it brings you deeper into that concept that we're calling permaculture now, which has been around for a long, long time, and it takes it to the globe. It's not just about your farm and maybe the surrounding area. It really plugs it into the entire landscape and how we could live on this earth in a really sustainable and beautiful way. They'll become much healthier human beings is how they'll benefit from doing this apprenticeship, and happier. What should they be prepared for? A lot of fun, a lot of community, some realizations that what they thought they needed, they didn't really need, and life can be really simple and beautiful when it's in nature and with a community, and a constant interaction and interplay between oneself, one's community, and the landscape. I would say they'd be prepared for work, but not in a way they might know work, because you're doing it in a community with people who become close friends very fast. It's just a lot of fun, and the learning curve is just so much steeper because you have peer mentoring and everyone helping each other along. But just do it, really. If you're thinking about it, just do it. This is more important than anything else you might be thinking of doing with your time next year.